The chances of being selected just got higher. However, this scene was all captured by host Zhang Yang in his livestream. Watching the crowd, which resembled a group of eager shoppers going after free eggs, domestic viewers felt a surge of pride. Instantly, Zhang Yang's viewer count skyrocketed as well. A wave of new viewers flooded the stream, and they couldn't help but start spamming the chat. What the hell? I see someone. Lin Fei. So cool. He actually went to the Cologne game show. And this popularity. It's about to explode. Haha. Guys, look at that white guy next to the booth. His face is almost the same color as the black guy's. This is crazy. This guy has never attended an exhibition before, and here he is debuting in the spotlight. Indeed, at this moment, I felt like I was glowing with pride. Wait, you think you're glowing? Didn't you hear that guy say they were testing a new game? This is thrilling. I almost want to fly there right now. Wow. Dude upstairs, is that flight for real? Meanwhile, as a robust security guard appeared, the order at the gaming exhibition could not be said to have stabilized, but it was somewhat calmer. However, there were still many foreign players who showed no fear of the guards and shouted about human rights and freedom. Well, it's just a gaming exhibition, a trial experience. And here we are talking about human rights. Unbelievable. Looking at the noisy and restless crowd, Lin Fei could only quickly scan the area. As the saying goes, everyone should share the benefits. With only 5 slots available, it was indeed a bit of a dilemma. You. Stop looking around, you. The one wearing glasses. Zhang Yang was an outdoor exhibition streamer, best known for capturing footage of girls from various angles. At this moment, in pursuit of views, he had completely become a servant to the audience. As the saying goes, making money is not shameful. Wow, streamer. Linda pointed at you. Yeah, what are you still staring at? Who says there's anything to see over there? Seeing the barrage in the live stream, Zhang Yang looked at Lin Fei on the stage in shock. Are you calling me? Isn't that obvious? Looking at the stunned person he pointed out from his country, Lin Fei impatiently said into the microphone, hurry up. Hearing someone call him up and seeing the live stream's popularity. My goodness, how did it suddenly jump to over 200,000 people? Seeing the online count hit 200K, Zhang Yang was completely stunned. But he knew that such terrifying traffic was definitely related to Lin Fei standing before him. Shocked back to reality, he immediately perked up. Step aside, let me through. Hey, girl in the sailor outfit in front. Move aside quickly, or I'll touch your butt. To Zhang Yang, Lin Fei was now his fortune. Anyone who dared to block his way to the stage was cutting off his source of income, regardless of whether they were a lowly or someone else. In the face of money, even gods can be challenged. Now, even if he got on stage and Lin Fei asked him to bow, he wouldn't hesitate. That's just how it is. Of course, Lin Fei had no habit of making people bow in front of him. Once the 5 of them reached the exhibition area, he directly said, the organizers only prepared 5 sets of equipment. We can't blame them for being stingy. It's mainly due to limited space. Well, just a complaint, but unexpectedly, the organizers looked quite embarrassed. But who can be blamed? Lin Fei and their positions were already the center stage of the venue, and the space available for 5 sets of equipment was already the maximum effort. Who would have thought that the gaming exhibition would be this popular? After a somewhat informal opening remark, Lin Fei got straight to the point. I don't want to say too much, and I'm not a fan of unnecessary talk. The game we're showcasing this time, I can guarantee, is one that you have never seen before. Moreover, I believe that after you play it, you will definitely fall in love with this element. As Lin Fei gestured for the 5 to choose their equipment, he spoke up. I have already discussed with the organizers, and after you all start the game, they will live stream the gameplay on a big screen. The excitement was palpable among the foreign players, who were practically ready to jump with joy at the thought of not only experiencing the game, but also being broadcasted live. In contrast, Zhang Yang looked completely bewildered. What? Play a game? How would I know how to do that? I might as well kneel down and beg for a more practical option. Of course, that was just his thought. If he were really asked to kneel down in public, he wouldn't be able to do it. Why does the streamer look so reluctant? He thought. Seriously, there are thousands of people waiting for this opportunity, and here you are. He felt a sense of bitterness as he read the comments in the live stream. In the end, he could only take out his phone and ask Lin Fei, could you help me hold my phone? I'm live streaming here. Chapter 181 New Game. Everyone's childhood wow. Lin Laozhai is on camera. Ha, big brother. Let us get those gifts rolling. Begging for a new game. Lin Fei, I want to have kids with you. In Zhang Yang's live stream, when the audience saw Lin Fei's handsome face appear on the screen, the chat exploded. Instantly, the atmosphere in the live stream became lively, with messages flooding in so quickly that it almost froze the phone. Some wealthy viewers, not caring whose live stream it was, started sending gifts like crazy. Seeing such enthusiasm from the audience, Lin Fei was stunned for a moment. He raised his phone and waved, saying, hello everyone. Hey, those generous viewers, please stop sending gifts. This is someone else's live stream. Wow, are you being polite? Zhang Yang, who was wearing VR equipment beside him, immediately shot Lin Fei a fierce glare. As the saying goes, cutting off someone's financial path is like killing their father. A deep-seated grudge. If it weren't for the fact that the live stream was so popular, Zhang Yang would have wanted to throw off the headset and walk away. Is the organizer out of their mind? Why did they have to bring him here? What are we even showcasing? A gaming company not far from the Player Nation booth looked at their own booth, which was rather empty, and felt dissatisfied. Of course, they were not the only ones struggling at the venue. Several familiar companies were gathered together, all looking at the Player Nation booth with envious eyes. In their view, Lin Fei's Player Nation was like a thorn in their side. There was no way around it. They were just too popular right now. Yeah, the popularity of Player Nation is at its peak. It seems like we don't stand a chance. Hearing the comments from several peers, the earlier mentioned company representative spoke up. At its peak? I'm not so sure. Why do you say that? Someone asked. What do you mean? The man looked around at everyone and said, we are all in the gaming industry. I just want to ask you, can you guarantee that every game you produce will be popular? I remember there's an old saying, wealth doesn't last beyond 3 generations. This means that, no matter how good a company is, it's impossible for every game to be a hit, right? Goodness, what a ridiculous explanation. If Lin Fei were here and heard this man's words, he would surely be laughing uncontrollably. Yes, you have a point. Our company has released no less than 20 games, and only 2 of them made money. Us too, but we're a bit better, with 3 big hits. Haha, I can't compete with that. Our output is a bit low, having released only 4 games so far, and only 2 have performed well. See, this is the gaming industry. No one can guarantee they will stay on top forever, right? I think Player Nation will stop here too. A group of envious game developers looked at the throngs of people at the Player Nation booth. Everyone is secretly hoping for a spectacle from the gaming brand at the exhibition. ISNT they're saying online. Watching you lose money makes me happier than watching me make money. At this moment, this group of people embodies that sentiment. It has begun. It has begun. As several lucky players donned their gear and took their places, the LED screens set up by the organizers in the hall lit up. To enhance the event's impact, the organizers went all out, broadcasting the screens of the 5 testing machines from the gaming brand. Haha, everyone. Let us not chat about anything else. Lin Fei waved to the audience in Zhang Yang's live stream, saying that if anyone truly liked the gaming brand, they should support the game. After that, he placed his phone on a small stand beside him and turned the camera towards the broadcasting LED screen. No, I don't want to watch the game live. I want to see people. Who could blame them? What is so exciting about a new game? It's not every day you get to see Lin Fei. The audience in the live stream, seeing the sudden change in the screen, immediately reacted. However, Lin Fei, who had already turned around, didn't notice this at all. But even if he did, he wouldn't care. After all, this wasn't his own live stream. The audience, after shouting for a while and not seeing Lin Fei, gradually settled down. Soon, the broadcasting LED screen flashed with a stream of light. The dark screen began to brighten. Everyone instinctively closed their mouths, eagerly anticipating the next scene. Whoosh! A sound like the wind began to fill the air. In an instant, the crowded, stuffy venue felt as if a cool breeze had swept through. The visuals hadn't even started, but the sound effects were so realistic. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but feel excited. As expected, the next second, the screen slowly lit up. Amidst swirling clouds and mist, peaks that seemed to be from a fairy tale appeared. A sharp wind blew, and a piercing eagle cry echoed. In the next moment, accompanied by a crashing sound, the scene shifted to a waterfall. A waterfall that resembled a galaxy poured down from above, crashing onto the lake below. Under the bright sunlight, a valley that resembled a paradise appeared before everyone's eyes. What they saw was vibrant and full of the essence of spring. Wow, wow, wow. Those upstairs, stop saying wow. I know what you mean. This scene feels so familiar. Yes, it's incredibly familiar. Just can't recall the name. Stuck, asking those below for an answer. What is this place called? Seeing such a familiar scene, all the viewers from Huaguo wore expressions of shock. It wasn't because the game's opening was so spectacular, but because this scene was so incredibly familiar. Familiar, to the point where they couldn't immediately name it. Everyone was at a loss for words. The name lingered in their minds, but they just couldn't say it. At that moment, the camera rapidly ascended along the waterfall that resembled the Milky Way. When the camera reached the top of the waterfall, a sudden silhouette appeared in the video. The figure stood with its back to the crowd. The silhouette wore a golden crown adorned with phoenix wings, donned a shimmering golden armor, and stepped into cloud-like shoes. The most striking detail, however, was what was in its hand. It was a stick. Yes, just a stick. An extraordinary stick. Oh my goodness. It's the Great Sage. I just remembered. No need to tell me. I remembered too. That's definitely Flower Fruit Mountain. Oh my goodness. How could that old thief not be human? Such a fantastic game concept, and they're showcasing it instead of releasing it directly. Who says otherwise? This is the Monkey King. My childhood. Damn it. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to buy a plane ticket. I'm heading to the expo in Cologne. At that moment, all the audience from that region were stunned. Chapter 182. The childhood idol of hundreds of millions. The Monkey King. The great sage equal to heaven. The victorious fighting Buddha. This is a character embedded in the DNA of all people from the region. With that outfit, anyone from the region would recognize him. He is the childhood idol of hundreds of millions. There is no other. At this moment, atop the mountain, the purifying energy of heaven and earth is slowly swirling around that figure. With each breath, it seems as if he is drawing in the essence of the world. Streams of white energy surge from his mouth and nose, like clouds and mist being exhaled. Wow, truly the great sage. I'm in awe. Oh my, hurry up and get ready to sell. No matter the price, I want to buy it. As the camera zooms in, the emotions of the viewers in the live stream become uncontrollable. Meanwhile, at the exhibition site, players gazing up at the LED screen have expressions of uncontainable excitement. OMG, it's so beautiful. Is this a game? Oh my, is this heaven? This is just too stunning. Can anyone tell me, is this real? Who is this monkey? So cool. I know. This is the beautiful Monkey King from regional mythology. Seems like he's called Sun Wukong. What is a Ho Wong? What is that? It's the beautiful Monkey King. He is not just anything. He is a deity from the east. Do you see that staff in his hand? That is the legendary sacred artifact. Wow, is there really such a saying? The golden staff is actually a sacred artifact? Hearing the excited exclamations from a group of international friends below, Lin Fei on stage felt speechless. The cultural differences between the East and West are indeed quite vast. However, it was somewhat surprising that someone could recognize the Monkey King. But just as everyone was still immersed in the majesty of this victorious fighting Buddha, they noticed his ears twitch slightly. At the same time, a stern shout echoed from the sky. Demon Monkey. The shout was like thunder, radiating from the speakers beside the screen, startling everyone in the venue. The voice seemed to be right beside them. OMG, what an amazing sound effect. It's fantastic. Don't talk, look at the screen. Accompanied by that angry shout, the camera turned, directly approaching the monkey on the mountainside. White clouds rolled like waves. With the intense rolling, the thick, milky white clouds began to part. As the clouds slowly receded, a group of figures appeared. At a glance, they were countless. All armored and helmeted, wielding strange-shaped weapons, fierce and intimidating. Demon Monkey, you have violated the heavenly rules. The Jade Emperor commands us to capture you and bring you back to the heavenly court for trial. Hurry up and surrender. Hearing the words from below, the monkey atop the mountain remained unfazed. He opened his eyes wide, golden light radiating and flashing. His fiery eyes were bright and piercing. In the monkey's domineering gaze, there was not a hint of fear. Instead, there was a surge of fighting spirit. Wow, no wonder he is the great sage. This scene is just too intense. Haha, I'm familiar with this scene. Everyone knows it. Men, women, young and old across the nation are all familiar with it. A classic moment is being recreated, bringing back childhood memories for the viewers in the live stream. At this moment, the outdoor exhibition host live stream is experiencing a crazy increase in viewers, almost 10,000 per minute. Those new viewers entering the stream are stunned by the explosive and familiar visuals. They had only heard that someone was live streaming a gameplay preview of a new game, but they never expected to see the legendary character. What is the legendary character doing? Just then, the audience notices that the monkey standing atop the mountain has its lips moving. As they ponder, the monkey suddenly flips over and leaps into the air on a cloud. Wow, the legendary cloud. So cool. Without any flashy effects, it's just a simple leap onto the white cloud. Yet, this simple scene, with its incredibly realistic graphics, makes everyone believe that someone can actually leap onto the clouds. Especially those international friends and game developers at the venue. All of them are left speechless. In their minds, even deities have never possessed such abilities. There are no extra glamorous effects, no cool camera angles needed. Just a simple leap onto the legendary cloud has already set the whole place ablaze. The monkey, holding an iron staff, leaps onto the cloud at an overwhelming and terrifying speed, rising to meet the unexpected guests. Its sharp, fierce eyes, full of rage, openly glare at all the invading enemies. The murderous intent in the monkey's eyes is unmasked, while its expression remains rebellious, clearly not taking the group of heavenly soldiers seriously. Humph. The Jade Emperor sends you little shrimp soldiers to capture me? You must think too highly of yourselves. As it speaks, the monkey opens its mouth, unleashing a gust of wind. In the next moment, thick clouds gather from all directions in the sky. The originally sunny day instantly darkens. However, with just one more inhalation, the scene becomes terrifying as dark clouds threaten to crush the city. OMG, what is this? Magic? So cool. Yes, this magic is so impressive. Is this a forbidden spell from a novel? Inside the venue, those Western players unfamiliar with Eastern legends collectively gasp. This apocalyptic scene only reminds them of the magic in their fantasy tales. Looking at the genuinely apocalyptic dark clouds, these foreigners feel a chill running down their spines. Some even wonder if this monkey truly existed. Could the superheroes from their own countries defeat it? After all, if this monkey's breath is so terrifying, who knows what other skills it might possess? Boom, boom, boom. Facing the impending dark clouds, the celestial soldiers standing on the clouds began to beat the war drums. Unyielding, demon monkey, prepare to meet your end. As the thunderous sound of the war drums reverberated, a loud roar followed. In the next moment, a burly man with a long sword flew out from the ranks, heading towards the monkey. Here it comes. Take this, old son. Seeing the approaching celestial king, the monkey was not only unafraid but filled with fighting spirit. With that, he immediately grabbed his iron staff and charged at the demon. But, in the next moment, bang, a muffled sound. The entire crowd was stunned. The aggressive monkey was actually sent flying by a single sword strike. At the same time, on the player's own stage, Zhang Yang, wearing a VR headset, let out a startled cry. What the heck? Why is it starting like this? Chapter 183, I think they are incomparable. Wow. I can only exclaim wow. Haha, the streamer is really terrible. Who says otherwise? The great Sun Wukong is being played like this. Do you think there is a possibility that this character is just too strong? Nonsense. How can anyone be stronger than Sun Wukong? The streamer is just a novice. If it were me, I would have stormed the heavenly gates and charged into the celestial palace. Watching Zhang Yang's Sun Wukong being completely dominated by the opponent, the audience in the live stream and the international friends present all started to criticize. It wasn't about the game itself, but purely aimed at the streamer Zhang Yang's personal skills. There is no other reason. This streamer is just a novice. How could someone like him occupy a lucky spot? The venue was filled with boos, and some even demanded Zhang Yang step down and let the top players take the stage. However, despite the audience's criticisms and discussions, Zhang Yang remained indifferent. In the past, he never played games. He even thought that playing games was a waste of time. But when he put on the VR headset and entered the game, he was captivated by the scenery before him. He found himself fully immersed in this enchanting flower and fruit mountain. But unexpectedly, this good time didn't last long. With the appearance of heavenly soldiers, he found himself in battle. Moreover, he transformed into the great sage Sun Wukong, riding clouds and soaring, covering vast distances in a flip. This is a dream that countless men have had in their lives. However, the result was completely unexpected. The monkey he controlled was knocked down to Flower and Fruit Mountain with a single strike. How embarrassing. How frustrating. He didn't even have a chance to showcase 1/10 of the great sage's strength, let alone lift the staff, before being knocked down. Even with the headset and bone conduction headphones on, the complaints and criticisms from the crowd reached his ears. He felt embarrassed all the way to a foreign land. Filled with regret, Zhang Yang secretly vowed, it's just a game. What is so hard about it? With this thought, he controlled the monkey that had fallen on the mountaintop to get back up and looked up at the heavenly soldiers in the sky. In that moment, it felt as if he had truly crossed over to the sky above the blooming Flower and Fruit Mountain. With determination, he looked at the countless heavenly soldiers and, without thinking, mimicked Sun Wukong and yelled, "You shrimp soldiers and crab generals, come face your grandpa." As he spoke, the monkey controlled by Zhang Yang leaped into the air, charging toward the heavenly soldiers with great momentum. The audacity of this monkey. Hearing Zhang Yang shout, one of the 4 heavenly kings leading the heavenly soldiers immediately bellowed like a furious deity, "Die." As soon as the command was given, the fierce heavenly king raised the pipa in his arms and began to play. Seeing this, Zhang Yang, who was already in the clouds, showed no signs of fear. With a single thought, he activated the great sage's skill. The next moment, he could only roar, "Take this, old sun stick." As he shouted, the staff in the hands of the character suddenly thickened, lengthened, and grew larger. The seemingly endless, thickening staff charged toward the air with unstoppable momentum, aiming at the opponent. Standing before the celestial warriors, the opponent, seeing the monkey's reckless boldness in confronting him with the staff, transformed his face into one of furious wrath. The demon monkey, unaware of his impending doom. As he spoke, he lifted his instrument and began to play, fingers dancing across the strings. The peculiar sound waves surged forth like an army charging, heading towards Zhang Yang. It was as if ripples were spreading across a still pond, visibly radiating towards him. At first, Zhang Yang paid little attention to the sound of the instrument. However, as the rippling waves approached, his movements suddenly slowed, as if he were drowning. With a furious roar, the monkey shouted. In the next moment, the clouds in the sky began to stir, as if his anger could turn the world upside down. In an instant, the monkey broke free from his constraints, his colossal arm descending fiercely upon the opponent. A look of disdain spread across the monkey's face. Bang! The staff struck down. The opponent, who attempted to block with his instrument, suddenly changed color. Before he could react, a terrifying force, like a mountain pressing down, sent the Southern Growth King flying. What the? Am I really this amazing? Watching the Southern Growth King being swatted away like a fly, Zhang Yang's eyes widened in shock. Immediately, an indescribable excitement surged within him. At that moment, he felt as if his blood was boiling. Incredible, truly incredible. Is this what VR gaming feels like? Zhang Yang, who had never played games before, finally experienced the thrill that gamers often talk about. A game could actually be this exhilarating. In this moment, he felt fearless. Gazing at the countless celestial beings in the sky, a burning desire for battle ignited within him. With the magical staff returning to normal under his control, he held it high. Looking towards the sky with pride, Zhang Yang shouted, "Today, let me, the great sage, destroy all of you divine beings." Wow, is the streamer high on this? No kidding, this game will get you hooked. But honestly, this streamer has potential as a gaming broadcaster. If you ask me, stop floating around and just become a game streamer. No way. With skills like this, he is worse than me. As a game streamer, he probably wouldn't even get a sip of the northwest wind. With nearly 1 million viewers in the live stream, seeing Zhang Yang's actions, everyone began to voice their opinions. As the discussions continued, Zhang Yang gradually got into the zone. Controlling the great sage, he engaged in battle with the celestial warriors. A single iron staff danced in his hands, and with just a slight misstep, one could be swept away by its might. At the same time, the monkey's signature skill of transformation was also understood by Zhang Yang. Whenever danger struck, it could unexpectedly change into various forms to evade it. In less than 10 minutes, someone who had barely touched the game was able to get the hang of it. This demonstrates just how simple and user-friendly the controls are. As the battle unfolded, both sides showcased an array of magical techniques, leaving the international friends at the exhibition in awe. They had never imagined that the magical effects in a game could be so realistic, especially with the lifelike graphics. This group even mistook it for their impression of a certain ancient civilization. OMG, the Eastern Land is truly a place full of wonders. Indeed, watching the monkey's spells, I suddenly realized how amazing this is. Friend, don't say that. I think they are not even on the same level. Chapter 184. Charging up to the Southern Heavenly Gate, I'm here testing the game, and you all are discussing biological species issues. Is this polite? Lin Fei felt a bit awkward as he looked down at the group of friends comparing Sun Wukong and the gods from the West. Since ancient times, mythologies have varied from country to country. As for determining which mythical figures are stronger or weaker, it really is difficult to judge. However, in Lin Fei's heart, he believed that the Eastern figures were slightly stronger. While everyone was discussing, in the game, a foreign player had already wiped out the heavenly soldiers without leaving a trace. OMG, finally cleared the level. This game is so much fun. Just as that player breathed a sigh of relief, the scene before him shifted. The defeated heavenly soldiers, having lost their armor, flew towards the Southern Heavenly Gate after retreating. At this moment, the monkey in midair narrowed his eyes, exuding a hint of danger. Does the Jade Emperor really think that I, Sun Wukong, am easy to bully? The Heavenly Court is too overbearing. I'll make a scene when I get there. Saying this, the monkey shouted down to Flower Fruit Mountain, "Monkeys, wait for me to visit the Heavenly Court, and I'll bring you back some local specialties." As he spoke, the great sage took a somersault and flew towards the Southern Heavenly Gate. Wow, OMG. So fast. Too fast. I can't take it. Whoa. As Sun Wukong soared, the surrounding scenery instantly blurred, a sign of rapid flight. However, the lucky players on the platform suddenly felt as if they were on a roller coaster, especially as the moving platform beneath them simulated that floating sensation. This feeling of being ungrounded made a few of them scream out loud. Seeing Sun Wukong flying on white clouds in the scene, the audience couldn't sit still. Excitement and longing appeared on their faces. OMG, this cloud looks so realistic, it really can fly. Yes, this is the coolest flying game I've ever seen. Even better than those flight simulators. I can't take it. I'm feeling dizzy just watching, and I have a fear of heights. The monkey flew without any flashy skills. Even so, the sight of him stepping on clouds while flying left this group of international friends looking awestruck. And this was exactly the reaction Lin Fei wanted. When planning to showcase the game, he had already made up his mind. Since he wanted to present Eastern culture to foreign friends, he would show them something impressive. It can be said that apart from the fighting scenes, the most eye-catching aspect of the game was the monkey's somersault cloud. While showcasing the immense power of Sun Wukong, it also demonstrated the wonders of Eastern Taoist arts. A somersault spanning 100,000 miles. In short, it's one word: fast. And just how fast? Faster than the 3-second monkey. To highlight this speed, no extra shots were needed. All that is needed is to fully present that overwhelming speed. Whoosh. As the monkey dashed across the screen, a streak of light shot out, soaring into the sky. The wind howled sharply, almost tearing at the eardrums, accompanied by a series of sonic booms. In less than 3 seconds, the monkey suddenly stopped. Just as everyone felt puzzled, a melody began to play. With the enchanting music, the perspective slowly shifted to the monkey, changing to a first-person view. As the view transformed, everyone realized why the great sage had to stop. Where is this place, heaven? OMG. No, even heaven might not be this beautiful. Oh my god. This is the paradise of the East. Lord, did you see this? It's simply marvelous. Is this really a game? I can't wait. As the great sage's perspective revealed the scene before him, foreign friends once again showed expressions of awe. Some even thought that the paradise they imagined was not as grand as the palace in front of them. Gazing at the palace bathed in golden light and surrounded by rolling red clouds, all the little foreigners' eyes widened. Especially the grand gate inscribed with Southern Heavenly Gate in front of the great sage. It was as blue as glazed glass and as bright as jade. On both sides of the Southern Heavenly Gate stood dozens of mighty heavenly soldiers, each brandishing halberds and swords. OMG, look at the pillars. They are simply works of art. So perfect. A keen-eyed viewer, noticing several giant stone pillars within the Southern Heavenly Gate, couldn't help but exclaim. Upon hearing this viewer, everyone finally paid attention. Those towering pillars were entwined with golden-scaled dragons basking in the sun. Behind the towering pillars, there were several long bridges, with colorful feathered cranes soaring above. The bright mist reflected the heavenly light, shrouding the entrance. This heavenly palace completely mesmerized the group of foreigners. Some even found tears streaming down their faces. You, why are you crying? Ooh-hoo, my mother has terminal cancer. If the afterlife is like this, then I can rest easy. You are so filial. If I had your thoughts, my father would definitely give me 7 wolves. Who goes there? This is the Southern Heavenly Gate. Please leave immediately. At that moment, the heavenly soldier guarding the Southern Heavenly Gate shouted down. The soldier's voice, imbued with celestial authority, erupted like rolling thunder. Instantly, all the audience members, even though the group of foreigners couldn't understand, they felt a wave of anxiety wash over them in the face of that thunderous voice, especially combined with the visuals. It seemed as if the fierce heavenly soldiers from the screen would step out at any moment. However, in the face of the heavenly soldiers' questioning, the great sage smiled defiantly, saying, "Hee. The old Jade Emperor sends troops to attack my flower and fruit mountain. Today, I, the great sage, will cause some trouble in his heavenly court." With that, the great sage showed no hesitation and brandished his iron staff as he charged towards the heavenly soldiers guarding the Southern Heavenly Gate. Who is it? Oh, it's you, the horsekeeper. At that moment, a slightly mocking voice echoed, and a giant man holding a pagoda appeared in view. Upon seeing this giant, the onlookers couldn't help but gasp. Judging by normal standards, the great sage's height is around 1.7 to 1.8 meters. Yet, in front of this giant, he had to look up. Even more alarming was that the great sage's height barely reached the giant's knee. Compared to those inexperienced onlookers, the domestic audience watching through the livestream remained relatively calm. However, they couldn't help but comment on the size of the pagoda holder. Wow, this pagoda holder is a bit too big, isn't he? Of course, he's a boss after all. As the audience discussed the appearance of the pagoda holder, Li Jing granted the lucky players control over the great sage once again. Chapter 185. The manifestation of Erlang Shun. Everyone held their breath. The facts told everyone that products from this game studio are guaranteed to be of high quality. The fortunate player controlling the Monkey King, alongside the giant figure of the Heavenly King, moved nimbly, dodging all massive attacks with the agility of a monkey. Occasionally, it even counterattacked. The flowing movements and exquisite visuals were a feast for the eyes. In their hearts, they praised this monkey. There was simply no second one in the realms. Faced with the troublesome monkey, the towering Heavenly King was furious, his eyes turning bloodshot. He was terrifying. He had completely entered a berserk state. His massive body loomed like a mountain. Staring at the monkey's head, which seemed as small as a fly, he suddenly widened his eyes and bellowed, "Demon monkey, look at the tower." With a roar that echoed through the skies, he raised his arm, hurling the giant tower into the air. In the next moment, golden light swirled atop the tower, accompanied by celestial sounds. Simultaneously, the tower began to grow larger. In an instant, the massive tower suspended in mid-air transformed into a height of several hundred feet, casting a shadow as it descended towards the Monkey King. The foreign attendees at the exhibition, unfamiliar with Eastern culture, were startled when they saw the small tower that had been held by the giant suddenly soar to a height of 100 feet. Screaming in shock, in an instant, the entire venue was wide-eyed. No way. This can't be real, right? How did such a small tower grow so big in the blink of an eye? Watching the colossal tower on the screen, all the foreign attendees felt their worldview being overturned. Is this what immortals from Eastern culture look like? My goodness, this is terrifying. Yes, if such magic existed in reality, this one monkey could wipe out all nations. OMG. My heavens, I will never call Easterners monkeys again. At that moment, the audience erupted in excitement. Meanwhile, at the booth next to the game studio, a group of game developers stood up from their seats.